Okay, guys and gals, recap of day 5 yesterday. So we ended up going over to Massachusetts. I always feel like I'm pronouncing it kind of messed up, but hey, I guess that's the redneck or hillbilly in me. Alrighty, so we went to Boston, and there's a couple places that we hit, and that was Salem. We got some pictures there, and we got some walking around, checking out the village of Salem or the city of Salem, and checking out some of the historical sites. Pretty interesting for sure. After that, we went to Boston. Oh my God, we hit that in rush hour, crazy traffic. I'm just glad with the beast over here that I got that ultra cool system and that flow filter going on. She did great, because my goodness, that traffic going around circles. I don't even know what road that was. If I remember, if I look it up, I'll post it up here and you can see what road that we were going around in this crazy loop. But what we did there was we was going to grab something to eat down in town. It was pretty, actually, even though it was clustered, it was a clean city for where we were riding. We went to the Barking Crab to grab something to eat there. Not too bad. We got a suggestion to go somewhere else. I can't remember what it was, but now we ended up going to the Barking Crab, something that I found and something that Bridget's friend had suggested to also try while we're in the area. And then it was getting late, but you know, you do what you got to do. We headed up to Plymouth and check out that stone, that little boulder, Plymouth Rock. That was pretty nice. In the evening, everything was dying down, but it was worth it walking around that little town, what we did, and checking out Plymouth Rock. And of course, we had to get some ice cream in. Going back to Boston, we got some crab rolls right there. I got the traditional, and Mike got, Bridget, what was that called? The other one, you remember?
So it's called the Naked.
The Naked, I guess. So I got traditional, Mike got Naked, which is warm and buttered. I kind of like the traditional. Usually maybe I'll try the Naked version, I guess is what they call it, that's warm and buttered. And maybe later on this trip in some of this area. So today is day 6, and we are heading to Rhode Island. As a reminder, we've been based out of Connecticut, hitting Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and then, well, another state, and we'll base out of that. I can't remember if I said it, but I'm not going to say it. Let you know when we get there. But we're going to Rhode Island, see some sights there, get some food, and you're just going to have to stay tuned to see what we get into. All right, see you on down the road. All right, guys and gals, it's day 6, and it's time to hit another New England state, and that would be Rhode Island. And we were going to go out there to check out some sights and get some food like we usually do, but ran into a little issue that started on day 5. But you know what? Let me explain the day of. So, on the way to Rhode Island, or should I start when we were coming back from Massachusetts yesterday, and we were heading back to our home base at that point over in Connecticut. It was nighttime, and I noticed and I felt something hit my toes on the floorboard. You know, I thought it might be just road debris or rocks or something that was on there, but no sooner after that, I did feel some vibration in the handlebars, and it got me curious and wondering. But it wasn't until today, when we was heading towards Rhode Island, that I thought, man, we're going to check it. So we had, because I felt it on the handlebars, and we went ahead and pulled over, checked it out. But we did make it to Rhode Island before we checked, and seeing if the front tires and wheels were loose between the forks, and it wasn't. But further inspection, it looked like, well, you could see the wheel bearings, and it looked like the bearings, I lost some bearings on there, and I think that's why I was getting that little bit of vibration that you could feel in the handlebars. Anyways, we were lucky enough to make it over to Battleship Harley Davidson, which was in Massachusetts. And of course I didn't have the helmets, but that was about 10 miles in from the Rhode Island state border. But we made it in, and they took us in. They were helpful. Liz and Mike over at the service counter, and the technician Brandon. Man, these guys were on it, helpful. They got me in. They got the bearings put in. They checked the bike out and everything. Gave me some advice on other things to keep an eye on the oil and such. But the main thing is they got me in. They got in the wheel bearings, and I'm back rolling, and everything's like butter rolling down the road now. No vibration like I had before. But yeah, a shout out to Battleship, Harley Davidson in Massachusetts. All right, let's keep on moving. Picking Battleship Harley Davidson was the right choice. They had the part, they got me in, and the turnaround time was only 2 hours, and I thought that was good from getting me in and them doing the repairs of replacing the wheel bearing up front and testing it, obviously, and then got me back on the road. Can't say enough about the service desk and the technician that was working on the bike. I thought they did an awesome job and get me back on the road. Like I was saying, it was like butter getting back on the road, no vibration and everything. But during the duration of the stay, while we were waiting for the repairs, man, I gotta say that it was a nice little shop there. And talking to them, it looks like it sounded like they went through some management changes, which was for the better from what I could tell. Walking around, it was the usual, looking at clothes, seeing if anything was on sale or clearance that you might want to buy and purchase and represent the dealership there, right? And not to mention you had to walk around and check out the motorcycles that they had and dream of what it would be nice to have extra stuff in the stable, right? Even though we were at Battleship Harley Davidson for only a couple hours, you know how that goes. By the time you take off and get on the road and the time that you're on the bike or whatever you may be driving, the destination, that adds up. But we did manage to enjoy and get some things in. We went over to Newport, Rhode Island, or back to Rhode Island there, and got to walk around Newport a little bit and found a place called Benjamin's to grab something to eat. Good place to check out and grab some food. I suggest that. And the other place we ended up going to was Fort Adams. And this state park was definitely something pretty cool to go check around and walk around. This was actually one of the things that was on my list. This place was active, or this fort was active back from 1841 through the first half of the 20th century. Now, some of the things that you could do while you're there, if you make it in time on the operating hours, you can obviously take some tours of the historic fort. They say, but I don't know for sure, that you can do some saltwater bathing, and obviously there's all kinds of boating that you can do, and fishing if you're into that. While in Rhode Island, one of the things that was kind of disappointing that we didn't get to see is Point Judith Lighthouse. So maybe one of these times we'll make it back out through those New England states again and check out some of the things that we didn't get to see, or invest more time. But anyways, as I've been doing in this series, if you want to stick around to the end, check out some of the pictures. And until the next video, keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down, and we will catch you on down the road. See ya.